Howdy. If you thought the McSpaghetti was weird, well, it is, but you'd be flabbergasted at some of the bizarre McDonald's menu items when we step out of our home countries. Some weren't too popular and were taken off the menu, or they were kept constrained to just 1 to 2 countries. And other choices are here because they're like nothing I'd ever expect McDonald's to have. Anywhere. So, let's check out the 10 failed and weirdest McDonald's foods. Starting with number 10. The deluxe spam breakfast platter in Hawaii. Did you know McDonald's is a big thing in Hawaii? Instead of ba-da-da-da-da, they say ba-da-da-da-bra. Plus they do that local gesture that Hawaiians know as the shaka sign. Aloha! Anyway, if you head to a Hawaiian McDonald's, you'll find spam on the menu. It's basically canned pre-cooked meat, mostly made of pork. And spam is very popular in the Hawaiian breakfast. Normally this spam is paired with rice, eggs and sausage. So that's just what the Hawaiian McDonald's breakfast platter does too. If you're in Hawaii at McDonald's, you can start your day with eggs, rice and sausage and spam on a platter. As for the taste, this is how Restaurant Clicks described it.
When you pile some spam on their sticky rice, it's a salty, delicious treat.
As of 2023, the spam platter was still on the menu. But when I checked the current Macca's DoorDash menu in Honolulu, I couldn't find record of it still being sold in 2024. So sadly, this spam platter does seem to be disappearing from some Hawaiian menus. Though I was kind of jealous to find that McDonald's in Hawaii sells oatmeal with brown sugar, cranberries and apples. And for me personally, that sounds right up my alley and delicious. But if you want to get really obscure, McDonald's Hawaii also has a secret menu. According to Hack the Menu, Saimin can be ordered from some McDonald's in Hawaii. It's basically a noodle soup and a unique evolution of Japanese ramen and Chinese noodle dishes. And it's another unique local dish to Hawaii. Mickey D's serves up egg noodles served in a hot broth of fish cake, seaweed and barbecued pork. Hearing it, I am curious of the taste. According to the website Tasty Island Hawaii,
Shrimp flavoured hot water with soggy ingredients.
Oh, that's a shame. It actually looks pretty tasty to me. This writer at Gigazine is Japanese. Let's translate the article and see what they thought.
The brown clear soup was really messy. It tastes like Japanese stock soup with a slight soy sauce flavor, with a fishy taste. The noodle's texture was quite soft. Perfect menu for refreshing the mouth.
Well, I guess the authentic Japanese palate can appreciate it a bit more. Each of their own. And at number 9, we have the matcha bean layer cake in Hong Kong. If we go to the McDonald's website, we find our unique, disturbingly green friend, the matcha red bean layer cake. This one comes and goes on the McDonald's Hong Kong menu, never lingering for very long. Looking at it, it's probably not a huge surprise to you it never made it to the West. But just what is it? What's it made of? And who on this 3.5 billion year old piece of rock could honestly find it a tasty looking snack? Well, let's step into the Hong Kong McCafe to look. In Hong Kong, it's known as the Miru Kuripu, which roughly translates from Japanese to 1,000 pancakes. And it makes sense since it's made up of very thin green tea pancakes, cream and red beans. Catherine showed her bakery expertise to make one and she almost makes it look tasty. Anyway, who's our brave taste tester today? Well, the lovely Erica made an almost identical recipe matcha red bean cake. She made hers in the shape of an Xmas tree, and she described the taste well. When I asked her directly, she even added some extra notes on the taste. Thanks, Erica.
It's spongy, soft and moist. The cake is subtly sweet with a little matcha tea taste. And the red bean is creamy, slushy and sweet.
As for the matcha soft serve McFlurry, I could only find one taste description in Japanese. Let's see, translated, it says,
It has a soft serve ice cream feel and shape, but when I tried it, it wasn't good at all. It was lumpy.
Well, call me uncultured, but I think I'll stick to my brown coloured cakes and ice creams.
Yeah, I don't like green cakes. It looks like upchuck.
Yeah, because our brown manure colours are so much more attractive than green. You know, I'm starting to think that desserts are just kind of gross looking.
Yeah, cakes are weird, but tasty.
And at number 8, we have the McVegan, available in Finland and Sweden. In recent years, there's been an increase in interest in plant-based alternatives in fast food. Whatever a person's reason for doing so, the options are there now in places like, say, Domino's, which offers plant-based pepperoni pizzas, for example. While I'm not a vegetarian myself, I've tried it and it tastes pretty damn similar. I prefer pepperoni still, but it's pretty hard to tell the difference. McDonald's typically has less options unless you're ordering a salad, as even their potato fries has beef flavoring mixed with their vegetable oil, which some vegetarians or vegans don't like. But McDonald's in Finland and Sweden were way ahead of the plant-based curve. And in 2017, they introduced the McVegan. Instead of our usual beef patty, we're given a soy protein patty, vegan mayo, tomato, lettuce, pickles, onions, ketchup, and mustard. Much later in 2021, some countries such as the UK got the McPlant. It features plant-based cheese and a plant-based patty. But tragically, we don't know anyone in Sweden, yet alone anyone who's tried the McVegan.
Strider?
But we do know someone in Britain. Let's ask the British dogman about the McPlant.
But I'm in!
With my unashamed love of chomping on a tasty beef burger, I'm naturally a little skeptical when presented with plant-based alternatives. But to be honest, the McPlant is a treat. It's a little different to your typical McDonald's burger, but I wouldn't immediately suspect that it wasn't legitimate beef or cheese in there. My main observation is that it's very light. Feels like I'm eating nothing at all, and that's bad. While the McPlant does taste good, I couldn't personally recommend it as a healthier alternative simply for the fact that I'd want to double up on portion sizes. The difference in taste is marginal, but it's the lack of any heft to it that makes this a tricky trade-off. Anyway, Strider, good luck finding a Swedish guy to ask about the McVegan.
Let's see, Swedish person. Oh, I'll check Swedish Craigslist.
Honey, Dennis is in Sweden. Why don't you ask your Swedish co-host?
Yeah! I've tried the McVegan multiple times!
Wait, you're in Sweden?
Yes!
Oh, well why didn't you say so? How's it taste?
I think it's a genuinely good alternative for vegetarians or those who want to switch it up in a while. I found it quite tasty. It's not one-to-one identical in taste to a regular meat burger, but it's quite close and works well.
Sounds very similar to the McPlant review. But despite being around for years now, the McVegan has never made it to America or most other countries outside of Finland or Sweden. So why hasn't it been successful outside of other countries? Personally, if I were to speculate, I think the reason might be in the name. I don't think the word vegan is always an attractive word for some people. For me personally, it tends to make me think of extremism, even if the vegan I'm meeting isn't extreme. And according to statistics, barely 1% of the world population is actually vegan. Yes, sometimes it may feel like there's more, but in reality, I think some people are just very loud with their beliefs and self-righteousness. Again, not all vegans, but some. But since the UK did receive the McPlant burger, it shows with a few tweaks and some rebranding, there's certainly a market for all plant burgers. And at number 7, we have sweet potato fries in McDonald's Norway and Sweden. Now here's a food I'd prefer over the original. For their over 70-year history, McDonald's has always had the same basic French fries. In their entire history, has a McDonald's fries ever changed from the basic one we have now? It's just never changed much, until recently. As sweet potato fries has become much trendier and more popular in recent years, and McDonald's Norway and Sweden decided to try it. It's never had the success to make it outside of Scandinavia, but over there you can switch your regular Mickey D's fries for sweet potato fries. And according to the McDonald's Sweden website, it's still on the menu, according to my Norwegian translation of the McDonald's menu.
As if our regular fries aren't sweet enough, we now also serve sweet potato fries.
Part of why I'll often personally choose sweet potato fries over regular fries is that crispiness. I tend to find them more heavily fried to the point where they've got that slight crunch to them, and I tend to find they're more thickly cut than regular fries too. And when we see the brown edges of the McDonald's version, they do look extra crispy, plus thicker to boot. Honestly, it puzzles me why these haven't appeared outside of Sweden or Norway. But when I asked Dennis if he'd tried them in Sweden, his answer was pretty insightful.
I've never tried these. They are available for those who want them, but I'm more of a regular fries fan, so the option never appealed to me.
Apart from some minor oil changes, McDonald's has basically been doing the same fries for nearly 70 years. So a bit like the Coca-Cola flavor being changed, it's not that strange that many customers are happy with the fries staying exactly the same flavor that they used to. For a short time, they were tested in McDonald's Chicago headquarters, but they didn't last. Sweet potato fries might just not have enough appeal outside of Scandinavia. But there could be another reason. Crop scientist Dr. Sarah Tabor was asked about it, and this is what she said.
McDonald's won't pick up sweet potato fries because they move too many fries. If they did, they'd burn through every sweet potato in the US in weeks.
And yeah, that makes sense too. Norway and Sweden combine to barely 16 million people, while the USA has a total of 333 million people. But regardless, how do they taste? On TikTok, Call Me Belly tried them, and he gave the most flattering praise McDonald's could ever receive.
They're sweet potato fries. I would never know these are from McDonald's.
Gudem bought them for about 25 Swedish krona, which is about $2.85 US. They said they were nice and crispy, sprinkled with big salt pieces, perhaps a little too salty, but they didn't appear to be a big hit in America. So for now, Scandinavia is the only home of McDonald's sweet potato fries. And for number 6 we have Shrek Pasta from Australia. Oh jeepers, why? It's so ugly! This one comes from my own country, Australia, because where else but my homeland would they be crazy enough to try this hideous Shreketti bolognese? It may be hard to imagine now why anyone of any age would ever ingest these scum-coloured objects, but it's hard to overstate how big Shrek was in the 2000s. In 2007, to promote Shrek the Third, McDonald's Australia sold the Far Far Away Happy Meal. When reviewed on Reddit, the most voted comment was from J-Toms.
That was foul.
New Leather's comment stood out too.
Mum and Nan would force me to eat this every day, and now that I've grown up, I can't see certain colours.
Well, most colourblindness is genetic, but you have my sympathies for having to deal with both colourblindness and these Shreketti crapettis every day.
Hey, you know what these are, Strider?
What are they, Dennis?
They're creepypastas! Ah!
Yeah, they are. Crappiest creepypastas we've ever seen. All I can say is, thank the cosmos this one did not last long and failed, never extending its nauseating sludge colours outside my country. But you know, maybe I should be thankful, because these are still way better than what America got. For their Shrek 3 promotion, they got cadmium-coated drinking glasses. And as I mentioned in the banned fast food toys video, this stuff was highly toxic. For example, cadmium is also found in paint and cigarette smoke. So yeah, my absolute least favourite Shrek movie, and both our countries got a pretty lousy deal on it. And for number 5, we have Panzerotti in McDonald's Italy. Whoa, now this one looks tasty. You'll find these Panzerotti cheese pizza pastries on McDonald's menus all throughout Italy. After all, the city of Naples, Italy is the home of pizza. These piping hot little pastries are a mixture of both tomato pizza sauce and gooey mozzarella. Typically, they're served with chicken McNuggets in the Tasty Basket meal. The website Love Food labels them as the perfect pre-burger appetizer. They haven't made it outside the country, but I certainly wouldn't call them a failure. But I think we can certainly label them as unusual. Luckily, in my Discord community, we have an Italian member called Kai, and he's tried the McPanzerotti a couple of times.
They're mostly served in McDonald's in Naples. It's a tiny, soft, deep-fried pizza. The filling is classic tomato pizza sauce, so it's very saucy and very cheesy.
He's certainly not wrong about the cheesiness, as we'll soon see. Regular Panzerottis are kinda similar to a pizza pocket that you might see in America or the UK. But the McDonald's Panzerottis are way smaller than regular Panzerottis. Belina visited Italy and she tried them as well on TikTok. I noticed there was a nice cheese pull when she bit into them. Perhaps a bit too much as the cheese got caught in her friend's hair.
It's in my hair.
It's messy, but it tastes like a pizza roll.
Hannah works in McDonald's and she showed us the magic firsthand as she shoved them in the deep fryer. They're basically cooked like fries, and she seemed to like the taste too. If I'm ever lucky enough to go to Italy, I'll certainly give them a try. Next up at number 4 we have the sausage egg and twisty pasta and crispy McChicken in McDonald's Hong Kong. You remember the McSpaghetti in Philippines? Well, McDonald's in Hong Kong saw this and said, hey, this isn't weird enough. So they got a whole burger sausage patty and tossed it in a corn and twisty pasta broth. Okay. In Hong Kong, there's a lot of icy cold mornings, so a nice warm, hearty, protein-filled broth like this can be very comforting and heat a person up on a chilly morning. This twisty pasta is basically McDonald's take on a traditional Hong Kong style breakfast, such as macaroni soup with ham. There's also a version with grilled chicken, which personally sounds like something I'd enjoy a bit more. This twisty pasta broth has actually been on the McDonald's menu for well over 10 years. Let's investigate how it tastes. If we look on Reddit, Duriano tried it and was less than pleased.
It's decidedly not awesome. You know how when you boil pasta, you end up with all this milky looking water? That's what the pasta is soaking in. Then throw on a sausage patty, an egg and some processed cheese, get it all wet in the water and add no seasoning. But it was still an experience.
Oh my god, that voice crack.
Let's get more of that McDonald's Hong Kong experience from the YouTuber Gene. We can see on the menu they have most of the traditional items we're used to, like the McMuffins. But it appears crispy thighs are another exclusive to Hong Kong. It looks like bigger pieces of McDonald's chicken might not have stuck around in the West, but in Hong Kong they embraced it. The twisty pasta is presented in a large cup, similar to buying a shake. They even gave additional corn for Gene to add himself in the sundae cup. Overall, it looks much like Duriano described it. I mean, I've seen less appealing things in fast food, but I can't say I'd be jumping up and down to try this one. On the other hand, the crispy thighs look delicious. Let's see what a fellow Aussie thought. Greg's Kitchen, I like his channel. He had the crispy chicken on a bun when it was available for a limited time.
Well, that was bland.
He really struggled to taste any flavor with the chicken.
There's nothing there to, savor on. There's no flavor, there's no saltiness or anything.
In fact, the only thing he could taste in the McChicken was the tomato on top. Maybe he got a bad batch, but it might also indicate why this McDonald's crispy chicken never became a permanent option in the rest of the world. For number 3 we have the caramel popcorn ice cream in Singapore. And damn, it looks good! Typically with McDonald's soft serves, we've always had the same option. We can choose vanilla, or vanilla. You can have any flavor you want, just so long as it's vanilla. Since I was a wee lad in Australia in the 90s, we've only ever had vanilla soft serves. That's it. Don't get me wrong, when the machine's actually working, I do enjoy a vanilla soft serve. But why, after all these years, is there not more variety? They'll stick a flake in the cone, they'll chuck it in a McFlurry with Oreos, but it's still vanilla ice cream. Well, McDonald's Singapore aimed to fix this in 2019 with the popcorn caramel flavored soft serve.
Ooh, yum! That sounds really nice.
I know, right? So it's such a shame it failed and disappeared off the menu so quickly. I mean, I'd gladly try it over vanilla. Anything but vanilla. It never even managed to stay in Singapore, yet alone leave the shores of Singapore. On the McDonald's Singapore Instagram, this is how they describe the new soft serve.
They're buttery caramel soft serves with popcorn caramel cones.
Looks like you could also get them swirled with vanilla or a chocolate dip version, according to delish.com.
It's creamier and not too sweet.
So why did it fail? The exact reason is a mystery to me, but maybe the reviews can give us some insight.
I tried the popcorn caramel soft serve, but I'd never know it was popcorn caramel unless I read the signboard.
Yeah, the impression I got from reviews is it had an extremely mild flavor. Too mild. Maybe that's why they gave the option to dip it in chocolate. And here we are, nearly 70 years since soft serves were first introduced, and we still only have vanilla soft serves. Maybe one day that will change, maybe next century. And for number 2, we have the Tsukimi burger. This one hails from Japan. What's a tsukimi? Well, tsukimi translates roughly to moon viewing. It's a Japanese tradition where people hold parties to view the harvest moon. It's called the harvest moon because farmers can work late into the night due to the light of this full autumn moon. And now you know why they call the original farming game Harvest Moon. Dang it, look at the light on that moon, it's just beautiful. Anyway, the tsukimi burger? It's a Macca's burger meant to celebrate the Harvest Moon festival, hence the moon being all over the promotion. McDonald's has in fact been running this promotion in Japan for about 31 years every autumn, so we certainly can't call this burger a failure. So that's the backstory, let's check out the burger itself. The fried egg is used in all the tsukimi burgers because the color and shape are meant to resemble a full moon. I particularly like the look of the rich, melty tsukimi burger. Some people seem to associate the moon with cheese for some reason, so this melty burger is a ridiculously cheesy decadence. It contains cheese sauce, 2 cheese slices, and even fluffy buns made with cheese. It's like a stuffed crust pizza in burger form. And of course, Japan McDonald's wouldn't be complete without Japan's favorite, weirdly dangerous mochi rice cakes. So Japanese McDonald's gets the mochi pie. Like apple pies if they tasted chewy and horrible. Due to the tragic amount of choking deaths mochi causes in Japan, McDonald's cautions people to chew the mochi pie thoroughly before swallowing. So how's this tsukimi moon-watching burger taste? Luckily, Una tried it out in Japan on Sora News. By the way, Sora means sky in Japanese, so I guess that's Sky News. Anyway, no one cares. That strange sauce we can see on top is called the Aurora sauce, and it's meant to go well with the moon egg.
While the burger itself doesn't look extraordinary, the taste is outstanding. Soft, rich, and flavoursome. The Aurora sauce adds to its deliciousness. This is a burger you'll want to hold up to the moon and give thanks.
I'm definitely noticing in this, a lot of the Japanese reviews seem a lot more positive and a lot less critical than some of the Western reviews I've seen of food. While I do like a good critique, it's kinda refreshing how much the East just appreciates a good taste. Moon burgers, moving on. And before we get to number 1, here's a couple of quick honorable mentions. The cheesy eggs deal from the Philippines. Let's quickly step into the McDonald's at the Philippines to try the cheesy eggs deal, kinda like the Filipino version of the cheese omelette. Filipinos enjoy pandesal. It's a staple bakery roll of the Philippines. Typically after baking, it's mixed with cheese, margarine, and other spreads. Kinda like a French croissant, but sweeter. Anyway, so let's see the McDonald's half-baked McCrappia version. We have this pristine, perfectly baked pandesal bun with an elegantly folded, perfectly fluffy, brightly colored egg. Not a hint of cheese out of place. Then, of course, we get the reality. Here you go, an unsightly splat of a bun. Looking half-cooked with barely any toasting whatsoever, with the cheese barely gripping onto the bun and it seeming barely stuck together. But I shouldn't judge by appearance. How's it taste? According to Mac's review,
The bread tastes like their McMuffins, but it was a little too soft and moist. It's different to traditional pandesal bread, but I like the generous amount of cheese in the filling. It was practically oozing out.
Next up we have the McDonald's poutine in Canada. This one comes from the far-off land of Canada, a mysterious place where people are polite, and on the road you don't get constantly tailgated. It's also my second homeland, and I miss it so. To make it, Macca's basically just serves up their fries with cheese curds and gravy. They mix it all together and they call it poutine. Apparently it's a very popular local Canadian menu choice. I left this one as an honorable mention though, because I don't think it's very interesting or different. And with those said, on to number 1. And for what might be familiar, our number 1 choice is the Secret Ronald birthday cake. So we've talked about McDonald's foods all over the world. Let's finish our trip in the USA. And let's not finish with quality, because this is utter garbage. You might even remember trying this one if you've ever been to a McDonald's birthday party growing up. I couldn't find an exact origin date to when this cake came about, but people have said they remember tasting these cakes over 45 years ago.
And I was real little. I mean, I'm talking probably 4 or 5.
Now, many cakes can inspire awe and imagination at their sheer creativity, decadence, and aesthetic beauty. But the Secret McDonald's cake is not one of those cakes. It's a cheap, sad, boring, miserable failure of a cake. It may be McDonald's greatest lingering failure of an item, yet it never fully disappears. That's a mysterious thing about it. Throughout history, it has sold abysmally, and it has left customers with a styrofoam taste that only a truly young, underdeveloped taste palate could enjoy. In fact, it's reported that it's bought for a mere $9 in 2024. But trust me, that $9 is a ripoff. You would probably regret purchasing this cake even if they gave you money. You're much better off giving that $9 to a homeless person. And I suspect the homeless would rather eat out of a bin than eat this cake. According to staff on Food Network, this cake is not on the visible menu, but it can be requested by customers. Some McDonald's will stock it, but not all of them. Back in the 90s, I vaguely remember trying this cake when I was at a McDonald's party. And I sorta kinda liked the icing, but frankly, I was 7, so anything sweet tasted amazing to me. The modern reviews from adult palates are less kind. One review I found even came from a McDonald's staff member.
Calling it a cake is a lie.
It is the worst cake you could ever buy. We ordered a bunch in, sell one, and the rest go to waste and get eaten by the crew. The cake has 0 flavor, so the frosting is super sweet. You'd be better off buying a cheap cake at your local grocery store. It will taste a lot better. The best way to describe the cake is fluffed up cardboard.
And indeed, the most common description for its taste on Reddit was cardboard, which is never the best adjective to hear about your baking. But because I seem to get most poetic when describing styrofoam McDonald's cakes, let's do one more taste test. Tammy Dunn ordered a McDonald's cake for $8.50. If for some reason you do want to find one, they suggested looking for them at restaurants that have party areas. And true to its name, the cardboard tasting cake came in a blank brown cardboard box. Similar to Reddit, Tammy and Kevin complimented the sweet frosting, but they said the cake itself tasted like a super cheap, dry snack cake.
The cake is horrible.
So I think we can safely say, for half a century, the secret McDonald's cake has been consistently tasting like dense polystyrene garbage drenched in icing. Chances are, at the party, the young child is going to appreciate the friends, playground, and Happy Meal more than the cake itself. And thanks for joining me to check out some of these weird and wonderful McDonald's foods across the world. If you have an interesting or unusual fast food meal you think I missed, or any thoughts on the Macca's food I mentioned, feel free to leave your comment below. And as always, thanks for watching and hope to see you next time. Today's member question is from Sergeant 16-Bit. They ask, did anything goofy happen when you were in the Navy? Well, it was a long time ago, but probably the goofiest thing is we had a rule in our squadron that if any one of us passed gas, we had to do 10 push-ups. By the end of our basic training, our team had very strong arms, and for some reason one of our leaders had this huge Batman and Robin poster hanging up in our mess hall, and it was right in a place where everyone saw it all the time. I didn't realize at the time what a hilariously terrible movie my squad PO was fanning over, and for all the heaviness and difficulty at the time, I couldn't help every day looking at that stupid poster and laughing. Thank you for the question.